Okay, so this full moon is a supermoon. And so what a supermoon is, if you've gone out and looked at the moon, you might notice it's bigger, it's brighter, and it is actually bigger because the orbit of the moon is not circular, it's elliptical. So right now it's at the a closer point to the Earth. So that's why it looks bigger, because it is actually bigger, it's closer. And because of the elliptical nature of the orbit, they usually come in clusters. So this is a supermoon, and the next two are as well. So November 5th and December 4th are also supermoons. So the gravitational pull is stronger because of it, and it affects us more because of it too. So if we're already affected by a full moon, we're going to be even more affected. So the other thing with a supermoon, because it's a supermoon, it's got more power to unearth some of the buried emotions that we have, or the hidden information that comes to the surface that we finally see that the light is illuminating and bringing to our awareness. These moons are also known to help bring in abundance. So this one, because it's the first since the equinox, and I think this kind of came up last time too. So intentions that we set back in March, and we actually got to start looking into this and maybe chatting about it. These we're going to start seeing coming to fruition now. So things that started happening in March, projects we've been working on, things that we've needed to change, rewards for efforts, things that we started or set intentions for at that time, we're going to start seeing these coming to fruition now. So, or something that you could have been working on in March that maybe kind of got put on the back burner, you're going to see come back to the forefront again. So that's another thing that happens with these supermoons. So I think it's kind of cool. So this one is in the sign of Aries. So the ruler of Aries is Mars, and so Aries is a fire sign. So Mars is the planet of action and motivation, and Mars is actually traveling through Scorpio. So they actually work well together. Although Mars is fiery, it likes to be in Scorpio, which is water. So what that allows us to do is to dive deep into what motivates us, what our desires are, what is fueling us to move us forward and, bring us to where we need to be. And right now we're in Libra. So the sun sign is Libra. And, it's funny because I didn't even realize this until I was reading this, but the full moon, so right now we're in Libra, the opposite side on the astrological wheel is Aries. And that's always how it works. It's always the opposite, and that's why it's a full moon. So I think next time we're in Sagittarius, so opposite Sagittarius is Taurus. So you've got that polarity, and that's what the full moon brings out, right? And that's why a lot of it has to do with releases, because you get this push-pull thing, and the full moon allows you to kind of like get rid of the stuff that you don't need to, which the polarity, the other sign, is kind of like in your face about. So that's one of the interesting things about full moons that I didn't actually realize, but it's like, oh yeah, now that you think about it, it's like, oh, that makes some sense. So one thing that comes to our attention in Libra is how much of ourselves we are choosing to give away to others, to events, to situations in our lives. So that's sort of like what Libra is about, because Libra is about how we balance things. The Libra is the scales. So also within this, just to add a little monkey wrench into it, because, it can never just be like nice and easy and just go smoothly. No, we have to throw monkey wrenches and things and make chaos and pandemonium, because we haven't had enough of that lately. So Aries is a planet which is actually considered to be the sister of Mars. So we've got double fire energy in this energy of Libra, and Libra is an air sign. So it's kind of interesting. So this double fiery energy is actually encouraging us, or it wants us to rebel. It's kind of pushing us to be rebellious and push against things, but not necessarily in a bad way, but it's to be our authentic selves. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of things, right? Is to, if you're on a spiritual path, you want to strive for that authenticity. You want to be your authentic self. You have to be your authentic self to live your best life, right? So this is actually pushing us to break free of anything that we're feeling stuck with or limited or unworthy about or whatever. So this can also, because of these two fiery signs, can leave us prone to careless accidents or to burning bridges that we might later regret, or from being too assertive, which, some people might view as being argumentative. So, with this Libra energy, sometimes when we want to just kind of like lash out or react, we might want to pause for just a sec and let the Libra come in and kind of say, hey, is this really what we want to do? Let's think about it, and let's kind of look at this in a more balanced way rather than just reacting. So I think that's also kind of interesting too, right? So Aries, got a little bit of information on Aries, which I found was a little bit interesting. So Aries is the sign of individuality. It's the I am. And Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. So it's the baby sign in the zodiac. It wants to be forever young. It wants to it's only out for itself. It, wants to resist the physical aging. But it's looking for, like, if you think of a baby, babies are very self-serving. They only care about themselves. They want somebody to look after them. I'm wet, I'm hungry, I'm this, I'm that. You look after me. Everything revolves around them. So that's why, or it's interesting that the ruling planet is Mars, because that's associated with boundaries, with assertion and conflict. And Aries is wired to defend itself and to fight against anything that threatens itself or its autonomy. And if you think about it, babies are very much that way, right? Because babies are little assholes, but we all know that. So, the other thing, so if we have too much Aries, you get full-blown independence. We don't want to be bothered by anybody. We want to be left alone. We want to be left to our own resources. And because we got this Aries Libra thing, if there's too much Libra, we get codependence. So we're unable to define ourselves without looking for validation from others or from, like the reflection of someone else, right? So what we actually are striving for, and this is a term I like, and one of you here uses it all the time, we're looking towards a path of interdependence. So where everybody retains their autonomy, but you grow together. That's kind of like the dynamic of this Aries Libra that we want. That's what we're looking to get. So if you're just accommodating your Libra only, it may mean you need to stand up for yourself a little bit more. If you're just being the headstrong Aries type, you know, you have to dial it back and maybe take a step back and truly listen to what's being said so you can find that balance, right? So the other interesting thing about this, so Aries represents self, Libra represents other. And I came across something very interesting today. I didn't know about this. So one of my bosses at work was mentioning about the CEO of AT&T put out a memo to all the employees for their their return to office mandate. And this is sort of the stance that a lot of companies seem to be taking now. Like even the company I work for, it's like, and I've complained about it. It's like they're being very rigid in their messaging, and people are pushing back against that because they don't want that. Like, you know, you got to give people the respect that they deserve. Yes, it is you know, if you're working for somebody, it is transactional in a way. It's supposed to be, you know, I'm providing this service to you, you're providing my pay. It's a contract. If you take the emotion and the feeling out of it, that is what it is. But we are people. People have emotions. We are driven by our emotions. And it seems that a lot of companies where, you know, years ago, it used to be about, you know, loyalty, and people would go work for a company and they would want to be there long term. And there was loyalty to the company, and the company had some loyalty to the employees, you know, like they would look after them. You got sick, they were like, you know, okay, we'll give you the time off work, we'll give you health benefits, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. But now that seems to be kind of like being dialed back. And a lot of these companies are like, nope, that's it. We're, you know, if we can't see you, then we don't believe you're working, and they're just being very harsh about it. So going back to the AT&T story, it was kind of interesting when I was reading about that because the messaging was actually very harsh. And it was sort of like, well, you know, there's no loyalty. This is just a market-driven business. And unless you have something to offer, and this is the way we're going to do it, if this is not what you want because maybe your lifestyle dictates otherwise, or you have a feeling about something else otherwise, maybe this isn't the place for you. And it's like, whoa, what the hell is going on? But people are pushing back. And I think that is exactly what we're seeing now. And I think that's where a lot of this chaos is coming from. So it's actually really fascinating to see. And the fact that I came across this whole situation today, which just kind of like put that spotlight on what this energy is right now. It was actually kind of fascinating. It's very interesting to see. So just looking at my notes here, the full moon will spotlight where it is necessary to draw boundaries in our relationships and stand up to our own needs. So this whole thing, like even with businesses and stuff like that, or with our work, with the other relationships we have and stuff like that, there is a little bit of that push and pull because people are recognizing their worth. They're recognizing what they actually want. They're recognizing that they need that balance, that work-life balance. They don't want to go back to the 3 and 4 hours of commuting a day. It's just exhausting. And then you go home and you start your second shift. It's too much. We're supposed to work to live, not live to work. But companies want us to, live to work. Sorry, I'm not married to my company. So that is about it for what these energies are. And it's just, again, it's interesting how I'm seeing these scenarios play out repeatedly almost everywhere I go. So the signs that are most affected this time around are the fire signs. So Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo, mostly Aries, and the Libra is as well. So that said, let's look at what's in store for each of the signs. So Aries, this is your moon, which means you're feeling everything at maximum intensity. Channel that fiery energy into projects that genuinely matter rather than burning yourself out on everyone else's priorities. Your leadership instincts are supercharged. Use them wisely. Taurus, this moon illuminates your subconscious, bringing buried emotions and intuitive downloads to the surface. Rest when you need to, but don't use self-care as an excuse to avoid necessary conversations. Your usual stubbornness may need some softening this week. Gemini, friendships and social circles take center stage as this full moon activates your community sector. It's time to evaluate which connections are genuinely reciprocal and which are energy drains. Your communication gifts are amplified. Use them to set boundaries that actually stick. And let's not forget, these readings are not just for your sun sign, but your rising and your moon as well. So keep that in mind. Cancer, career ambitions get a cosmic spotlight as the moon peaks in your professional zone. Recognition you've been working toward may finally arrive, but remember that success means nothing if you've sacrificed emotional well-being to achieve it. Balance is everything. Leo, adventure and expansion call your name as this full moon activates your philosophical sector. Whether it's booking that trip, starting that course, or finally having that big conversation, the universe is supporting bold moves. Trust your creative instincts completely. Virgo, transformation and shared resources dominate your lunar landscape. Financial partnerships or intimate relationships may reach a turning point. Your analytical nature wants to overthink everything, but sometimes you just need to feel your way through. Libra, with the full moon directly opposing your sun sign, partnerships demand attention. Romantic relationships, business collaborations, or creative partnerships may reach crisis or breakthrough points. The key is choosing authentic connection over comfortable compromise. Scorpio. Daily routines and wellness practices get the cosmic magnifying glass as this full moon highlights your health sector. Your body has been trying to tell you something. Finally, listen. Small habit changes now create massive transformation later. Sagittarius. Creative expression and romantic pursuits take center stage. This full moon activates your pleasure zone, demanding you prioritize joy over obligation. Your natural optimism gets a boost. Use it to manifest experiences that genuinely excite you. Capricorn. Home and family dynamics reach a culmination point as this moon illuminates your domestic sector. Conversations about living situations, family boundaries, or emotional security can't be avoided any longer. Create the sanctuary you actually need. Aquarius. Communication and local connections get energized by this fiery full moon. Important conversations that you've been postponing need to happen now. Your intellectual gifts are heightened. Use them to articulate exactly what you need. And finally, Pisces. Money and values come under cosmic review as this moon activates your financial sector. It's time to align your spending with your actual priorities rather than what you think you should value. Your intuition about resource management is spot on. So, one of the other things that has been coming up a lot lately and is relevant to this full moon is because we're looking for that balance, that push and pull between the I and the other. What needs to be looked at is the parts of us, some might consider it our shadow parts, that we are refusing to acknowledge or see. So I didn't have a proper meditation set up, but I'm just going to get you to close your eyes for a minute. I'm just going to give you something I want you to think about for when it's time to set your release up, to write it up and then burn it. So close your eyes and take a deep breath in. Release. Let some of that tension leave your body. Take another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, let some of that stress and worry release from your brain. Let some of that stuff go. And another deep breath in, and slowly let that out as you allow yourself to sink into your chair a little bit more and fully relax. As you are in this relaxed state, I want you to envision a mirror in front of you. And I want you to look at yourself in that mirror, whether it's just your face or your whole body. I want you to really look at yourself. Look into your eyes. What part of yourself are you ignoring? What's in there that you have been ignoring? What part of yourself is in there that you have been avoiding? This is the time to acknowledge what that is and decide whether you need to work through it or release it. But we can't keep pushing it back anymore. So really look at yourself. Look inside of yourself. At the parts of you that you don't want anybody to know about. That maybe you haven't even acknowledged yourself. Time to let that part come through. And maybe release it. When you're ready, give yourself one more look and say to your reflection, I love you. I got you. We can get through anything. We are enough. Good parts, bad parts, all of it. When you're ready, come back and open your eyes. So, as you know, this is a full moon and we need to write out what we're going to release and we're going to burn it. I'm not doing it tonight. It's raining. Nothing's going to burn in the rain. I'm not going to have that fight today. Refuse. But I'm going to suggest one more step for everyone. Really think back, and maybe now that you've had a chance to look at yourself in this mirror, acknowledge these parts of yourself that you have been ignoring or pushing aside or avoiding, and journal about it. Write about it. And then write your release that you're going to burn. It's a little bit extra this time, but I think this moon and the energies right now and that focus will make it all worth it. So on that note, I am going to stop the recording and we'll